All right, let's talk about one of the things that trips up almost everyone learning German, the dative and accusative cases. It can feel like you're trying to crack some impossible secret code. But here's the good news, it's not about guessing. There's a system, a logic to it, and today we're going to crack that code together. Let's dive right in.
Okay, look at this sentence. Lisa has. That's it. It feels, well, incomplete, doesn't it? Like it's just hanging there. You can feel that a piece of the puzzle is missing.
Exactly. Your brain immediately asks, has what or whom? And that question, that is the absolute key to everything. In German, you have to think of the verb as the boss of the sentence. It's the one in charge, the one that decides what other information is needed to make sense. The verb tells you if you need an object, and it tells you what case that object has to be in.
So, let's start with the most common, the most fundamental part of this code, the accusative case. Think of this as your default setting. When a verb needs an object, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be in the accusative. So what is an accusative object? Well, it's just the thing or the person that is directly getting the action of the verb. And the easiest way to find it is to just ask a simple question of the verb, who or what? If I say I see, you'd ask, you see who or what? And whatever answers that question, boom, that's your accusative object. And here are some of your best friends in this department. These are super common, everyday verbs, and they almost always demand an accusative object. Ich habe, what? Ich habe einen Hund. I have a dog. Ich sehe, when? Ich sehe den Mann. I see the man. See? It's a very direct relationship between the verb and the object. Now, here's the best part about the accusative. It's actually pretty simple. Look at this chart. The only thing that changes, the only thing, is the masculine article. Der becomes den, and ein becomes einen. That's it. Feminine, neuter, plural, they all stay exactly the same. So you only have to keep an eye out for that one little change. Okay, so if the accusative handles the direct object, what happens when there's an indirect object in the sentence? Well, that's where our next case comes in. This is the dative case, and you can think of it as the recipient code.
The dative object is basically the person who receives the direct object. They're the beneficiary of the whole action. So the magic question here isn't who or what anymore. For the dative, the question is to whom. Just think of a verb like give. I give what? That's the accusative. But I give it to whom? That person is the dative.
Now this is a fantastic rule of thumb to remember. It helps so much. The accusative object can be a person or a thing. You can see the man, or you can love your new shoes. But the dative object, it's almost always a person. It just makes sense, right? You don't really help a chair or thank a table. These kinds of actions are directed at people. And this list right here just proves that point perfectly. Look at these verbs. You help someone, you thank someone, something pleases someone, you congratulate someone. Do you see the pattern? There's always a person on the receiving end.
So, unlike the accusative, the dative is a bit more work. As you can see, the articles change for every single gender. Masculine and neuter go to dem, feminine becomes der, and plural changes to den, and you usually have to tack an extra n onto the noun. So yeah, it's a little more to memorize, which is exactly why it's so important to know when you need to use it.
Okay, so we've got the verb as the boss. But what happens when a preposition shows up? This is where things get really interesting, because some prepositions can actually command either the accusative or the dative. This is the final and maybe trickiest twist in the code.
These 9 little guys right here, these are the ones you have to watch out for. They're often called two-way prepositions because they can swing both ways, accusative or dative. So, how on earth do you know which one to pick? Well, there is a golden rule, and you need to burn this slide into your brain. It all comes down to one question. Are we talking about movement to a destination, or are we talking about a fixed position? If it's about direction, moving to a place, you use the accusative. The question is, where to? But if it's about a static location, just being at a place, you use the dative. The question is simply where.
Let's make this crystal clear. Look at this first sentence. Ich hänge das Bild an die Wand. I am in the process of hanging the picture. There is movement towards the wall. That's direction, so we use the accusative die Wand. Now look at the second one. Das Bild hängt an der Wand. The action is over. The picture is already there. It's in a fixed location, so we use the dative der Wand. See the difference?
Let's do one more just to lock it in. Ich setze mich auf den Boden. I am moving from a standing position onto the floor. That's direction, so it's accusative. But once I'm there, ich sitze auf dem Boden. Now I'm just in a static location, no more movement. So it's dative. Direction is accusative, location is dative. Simple as that.
Okay, I know that was a lot to take in. So how do you put it all together when you're actually trying to speak or write? Let's boil it all down into a super simple, practical checklist you can use every single time. Here it is, your 3-step guide. First things first, always scan the sentence for one of those 9 two-way prepositions. If you see one, you know what to do. Ask the direction versus location question. Okay, what if there's no two-way preposition? Move to step 2. Check the verb. Is it one of those special dative verbs like helfen or danken? If it is, use dative. And if the answer to both of those questions is no, then you go to step 3. You can be almost certain it's accusative. That is your default, your home base.
So there you have it, the whole system. It's not a secret language after all, is it? It's just a set of rules. The question isn't, which one should I guess anymore? Now it's, which rule applies here? So you have the code. The only question left is, what sentences are you going to build with it?